Hello, hello, hello. I'm Cole Harvey. Welcome to a brand new and very special edition of The Big Life. Super excited today. This is a topic close to my heart. We're going to be talking about how you can turn your passion, your purpose, into profits. In other words, how to make a great living doing what you love. And this is the number one goal of the Big Life community. And I'm super excited today because my special guest is an amazing dude. I've been studying his work the last 6 or 7 months. Very inspiring man, as you'll discover. He's a business coach and author. And without any business experience, he went from sleeping on his sister's couch to running a 7-figure business in just a couple of years. Since then, he's built up a multi-million-dollar online media company. He speaks all over the world, 20 grand a pop, boom. He's helped multiple authors to reach the New York Times bestseller list. He's consulted for billion-dollar brands. And there's more. Details magazine said he's one of the 5 internet gurus who can make you rich, so pay attention. And he was voted one of the 50 most influential people in blogging. When he's not doing all of this work, this hustle, making great money doing work that he loves, he's a former professional football player. That's the American kind, not the English kind, not the proper kind, FYI, just disclaimer. He's a 2-sport All-American, a world record holding athlete, and currently he's on the USA men's national team for the Olympic sport of team handball. To top all that off, he was just recently recognized by President Obama, of all people, at a White House ceremony as one of the top 100 entrepreneurs in the country under 30. Boom. Not bad, man.
That's a great intro, man.
Lewis Howes. Welcome, Lewis. What's up, man?
What's up, brother? That was awesome. Thanks so much for the introduction. I forgot I did all that.
Yeah, I was going to say thanks for the awesome life that made it easy for me to introduce. And I'm super glad to have you on the show. Let's jump right in because, as I say, this is a topic very, very close to my heart. Namely, how you can genuinely create an incredible lifestyle for yourself, abundance and freedom and travel and all that good stuff, doing work that you love and you're deeply passionate about. But let me start with this. What qualifies you to talk about this, man? Because isn't it really hard to make money? There's a recession on. We should be grateful for any job that we can get. What leads you to believe that not only you can do it, but other people can create a great life based on doing things they actually care about and love?
Well, I think because I've been experiencing it for the last 5 years, and I was playing professional football as my dream. In college, I finally made it from college to professional football. I had a lot of hard work to get there. I was not the best athlete. I was not the most talented. I was not the fastest or the strongest on my team in college, and yet I still was able to find a way to make it as a professional athlete, to achieve my dreams, to turn my dream into a reality. And once that was over, I got injured playing football. About a year in my rookie season, I got injured. And for a year and a half, I was recovering. I was in a cast. I have a scar right here. I don't know if you can see the scar in my hand right here. They did a surgery. They took a bone out of my hip, put it in my wrist right here. And I was like this for the next 6 months, in a cast in this position for 6 months. From my shoulder to my hand, bent at 90 degrees. So I couldn't move, couldn't do anything. And I didn't have any money at the time. I was about 23, 24 years old, didn't have any money. Was sleeping on my sister's couch for a year and a half, trying to figure out what am I going to do with the rest of my life? What is next for me? My dream is over. Where do I go next? My father had gotten into a pretty bad car accident, so he had this brain injury where we pretty much had to teach him how to walk and talk, and it just wasn't he's still alive, but he wasn't my father really, like the person I could reach to for advice. So when I needed someone the most, it's like I just had to figure it out on my own. That's how I felt. And through reaching out to mentors, through working really, really hard, through testing and trying different things, and through seeing what the successful people were doing online, seeing how they were running an online business, watching their every move, analyzing, tweaking, trying things, and being immersed in the process myself, making a lot of mistakes, I slowly but surely started to make a couple $1,000s a month. After about a year and a half, a couple thousand came in a month, but it was really hard work.
Yeah.
Then 10,000 a month, then 20, then 50, then 100, and it just kept growing and growing and growing for my business. And it was all down to just putting a lot of effort and energy in, finding the right people to support me, and finding mentors who'd already lead the path.
Beautiful, beautiful. And one of the things that you share is about the 7 core pillars to building an online business. We'll talk about that a little bit later.
Yes.
Before we drill down into the tactics, because I genuinely believe that everyone watching can figure out how to do what we're talking about, create a great living on the internet. I honestly believe it's the gold rush of our age.
Sure.
You don't need to be particularly technically minded. It's so easy. There's so many done for you tools now, and we'll talk a little bit about that later. But before that, man, I admire your mindset. Like from studying, listening to your podcast. If you haven't listened to Lewis's podcast, you should. They're very powerful, and he interviews some amazing guests as well. But some of the key things that you talk about, let's talk about a bit about your mindset, because you talk a lot about the champion's mindset, and I think this might be a little bit from your athlete days, and I mean obviously you're still an athlete now. What is a champion's mindset? What are the beliefs of a champion?
I think a lot of it is being able to put yourself through and experience as much pain as humanly possible.
I've heard you say this before. Now, what do you mean by that? Because I'm quite zen. I want to be in flow and all that. Were you scaring me with all this pain talk?
I mean, a champion, if you think about a champion, to become a champion in any sport, let's say, there is so much sacrifice and pain that top person in the world or in that state or whatever it may be, the championship community, that person has gone through so much pain. That team has gone through so much suffering and pain. Maybe not so much suffering, but pain and consistent pain over and over and over to expand their mind, their bodies, their emotions. They've gotten out of their comfort zone so much. And because of that, they're able to take on anything that anyone throws at them. Any type of defensive back that comes my way as a receiver, I'm able to take it on. Any type of pain I'm experiencing in my body, I'm able to push through it. Any type of struggle or adversity that's happening constantly in every area of my life where, do you ever have anything in your life where you're like, everything feels like it's going wrong? The relationship side of thing, your health, you got no money, you just got fired, your house burned down, everything is going wrong. Champions have developed such a strong mindset because they've dealt with so much pain, practicing it every single day, that when shit hits the fan and it's hitting them constantly, they're able to move through it with ease and grace and get to the other end of the results that they want. So developing a pain threshold and learning the skills on how to deal with any type of adversity, that is a champion's mind.
Boom. It reminds me a lot of that Will Smith quote where he's talking smack and he's saying that if we get on a treadmill together, one thing's certain, you're going to get off first or
I want to die.
Yeah, I love that.
Exactly.
I love that. So how does that translate to day to day? So for the Big Life audience, amazing, ambitious, inspiring, positive people who, let's say that we're talking about creating an extra income stream, or even, I mean, the goal for me, and I know a lot of the audience is to make that full-time living doing work you love. Where's the pain there? What specifically, what sort of pain did you go through to manifest that?
I mean, the pain is like waking up every day and not having money. That's like, you start off where you're like, okay, I want to do this. Maybe I have a job. Maybe I don't have a job. And the pain is like doing something every day, knowing that it's not going to bring you in money when you do it. But you've got to put in the time and the energy to learn. You've got to master new skills. Like I remember when I first started out, I had no clue what I was going to do. But I found a mentor and he said, if you want to be a great speaker and you want to write books and you want to be if you want to be like Tony Robbins, you got to learn how to speak in public. You got to overcome this fear. And this fear I had was speaking. Like I couldn't speak in front of 5 people without sweating and trembling and forgetting what I wanted to say and feeling stupid and insecure. So he said, you need to check out Toastmasters. Mm-hmm. So this is an international organization. It's like $100 a year or something, where you practice once a week or once every 2 weeks a speech in front of a group of loving critics, let's say, people that want you to succeed. And I remember I went to there I was like, okay, I'm going to commit to this. I'm going to do it for a year. And I went there and I did 10 speeches over a full year. I went every week. I showed up. I prepared. I practiced. I did something every week where I could practice public speaking. And I was horrible at it. I really struggled. And not only did I struggle, it was really painful for me. It was so painful. So, but I knew on the other end of the pain was going to be pleasure. Yeah. And if I just was consistent with it and I improved, and if I saw little improvements, then I was a little bit of pleasure. Like every little improvement, every speech, I got a little bit better feedback. It was like, okay, what I'm doing is working. I just need to keep being consistent with it. And it's the same thing for me with building my online business. I knew that was a skill I wanted to have, was public speaking, to be able to be a better leader in front of an audience and be able to present in front of an audience, because I knew it one day I'd be speaking in front of thousands of people.
Yeah.
But for a year and a half, almost 2 years, I didn't make any money online still. And I'll tell you what, like, but it was the practice of just doing something. Like, I knew I needed to have a website. And I spent, I think, like $300 putting up this WordPress site. And I spent all this time and energy and like months and months of analyzing how the header was going to look and, what to say, and learning copywriting. It was just like trying to learn it all was so painful. And that site didn't last more than like a year. It didn't really do anything for me. But the act of doing it, the act of putting something out there and trying something, was the process of learning and experiencing what was going to, it was like a warm-up game for the game I'm playing now.
True.
And if you don't do these practice games, then you can't just jump into the all-star game and start playing at a high level. You got to practice and put in the work.
Oh, for sure. And a similar path for me as well, man. And I know that I read a book that deeply impacted you as well, Tim Ferriss's 4-Hour Work Week. Yep. And I quit my job the day after I got given a copy of that book. And I had a great job, but I was very unhappy. And when you mentioned earlier about pain, for me, the biggest pain was not figuring out how to make a success of an online business. Yes, it was outside my comfort zone. Yes, I had many skills, and you mentioned some of them there. And they're just skills. You have to learn them without shadow of doubt. It's not just mindset. You need to learn these skills, but they are very learnable. But for me, the pain was staying stuck in a job and a life that didn't deeply resonate with me. I was dragging myself out of bed in the morning feeling miserable, and it had a huge negative impact. But after I read 4-Hour Work Week, it was a complete paradigm shift. I was like, I cannot believe there is actually people in this world who make a great living doing things they care about. They get to travel, they get to make money while they're asleep, all this crazy stuff. So I remember walking into my boss at the time and saying, look, I'm quitting. And he was like, what? You've got a great future here. And I pointed to the book and was like, look, I'm going to go do what this says. And he looked at me a bit curious, but he knew I was a bit of a strange boy and was like, all right, well, good luck. But one of the key things there was that triggered a vision in my mind. Before then, I didn't even imagine it was possible. You talk a lot about vision. And so, I mean, what is a vision to you, and why is it so important to have one?
Well, if you don't have a vision, then you're just going to end up with the leftovers that everyone else gives you.
Ooh.
Yeah. So, and that's how a lot of people live their life. They live their life through what people give them, which is like, okay, you're not going to get the raise because you don't have a vision to get the raise, or you're not going to be the CEO of this company or be a manager or whatever it may be because you have no clarity of what you want in your life. So we're going to give you what's left over. We're going to give you what we think you should have, as opposed to you being so clear and focused on exactly what you want and why you want it, and then going after it and doing the necessary steps to get it. It's really important to have a vision if you want to achieve greatness. If you don't want to achieve greatness, then no worries. Just have no vision and you'll be fine.
Oh man, everyone here, everyone who watches The Big Life for sure wants to create that big life, and we all define that slightly differently. But there is absolutely that burning desire that runs through this community. It's more about putting all of the pieces together. So one thing you've talked about a lot, and actually I got a quote here that I read that really impacted me. From one of your articles, it says it's talking about framing your goals, and you write,
yes,
I started writing my goals down and framing the goal as if it was already achieved in my early 20s. I was amazed when I started reaching these goals by the date I had set on them. It was a daily visualization exercise, and it almost always works. I believe the things you put your energy towards the most will most likely come true over everything else.
Yeah.
Talk to me a little about that, because I'm a huge proponent of the power of visualization. Is that something you do consciously? What do you think's happening there?
Yeah, I'm very intentional with everything I do. I mean, on my screen right now on my computer, my screen on my desktop is an image of one of my visions for this year.
Yeah.
And it's actually been a vision of mine for 5 years. And I basically I hang stuff up and frame it on my walls and put it in my bathroom and things like that. But I also have it on my computer now because it's what I look at constantly. And it says, New York Times, #1 best-selling author. And then it has the top 5 and it says my name, the School of Greatness. It was like all written out like it's in the New York Times magazine, newspaper. And I just customized it to have my name in there, my book, the title of the book, everything. And so I'm looking at it. I'm looking at it right now on the screen. Behind this video, I see it on the screen. It's constantly a reminder of what my vision is. and the steps I need to be taking every single day and every single moment to achieve the dream and make it a reality. And I believe that when you frame your goals and put it up there with the date, you're setting an intention of when it's going to happen and why you want it to happen. And by doing that, there's something powerful when writing it down and that whole process of creating it or writing it down, setting the date, and then signing it.
Yeah.
Like it's a certificate that you award yourself because you put in the work every single day to make it happen. I think there's something really powerful to that.
Well, I'm intrigued as to what you believe the power is. Do you think this is the law of attraction? Is it something to do with your subconscious mind? Is it just you're committing to something internally? What do you think's going on?
I mean, it could be a combination of a lot of those things, but I think the power of intention is extremely powerful.
True that, man. True that.
And if you have zero intentions, you will get whatever is left over. But when you have an intention, I'm not saying you will achieve it. I'm just saying that when you have an intention, you're much more likely to make it happen. And then if you follow it up with a committed game plan and an action plan, by putting it out there and allowing people to support you. Once I started putting this out there of my mission to serve 100 million people, to show them how to make a full-time living doing what they love, I started talking about that. People are like, I want to help you. I've got a website that has 70 million unique visitors a month. Let's get you featured there. I've got this. I've got this. They're just like allowing me to fulfill the vision because I'm putting it out there and I'm setting an intention. If I just said, I want to make money and help other people make money, then maybe it'll come, maybe it won't, but it won't be as clear.
Let's go deeper on that because that has been a profound shift that I've experienced over the last 12 months. Actually, I went to Burning Man and had a couple of conversations, very, very deep conversations about that. And I was already getting to the point where I was focusing on providing value, but I was still as focused on making money, on trying to create a successful business. And since then, the big shift that I've had is that fundamentally 100% of my attention is on giving value, like giving love, giving service, giving value. And assuming that the money will come, I still have an intention that the money will come because I believe that's important, that expectation. Yeah. But the focus has shifted. And since then, I've been magnetizing people who want to, because people are attracted, I believe, unconsciously or otherwise, to people who are living their purpose, giving value in the world. They want to help you. Is that something that you found as well?
Yeah, I mean, I heard someone say this, if you want to make $1 billion, help 1 billion people.
True that. Yeah.
And, the more you live in service and the more I live in service, the more it comes back to me in multiple ways and specifically financially. When I help other people achieve financial goals, I achieve financial gain and success as well. And when I do it without expecting anything in return or without conditions, the energy flows both ways a lot more fluidly. So it's pretty powerful.
And it's a beautiful lesson for everyone watching. You might be wondering, well, what's this got to do with turning my passion into profits and online business? It has everything to do with it because I genuinely believe that when you put your focus on how can I serve people, how can I help them, what value can I provide the world, how can I help 1,000, 1 million people, when you put your focus there, it's easy to monetize that afterwards. Like if you can figure out how to share a message that helps people, I think it used to be Zig Ziglar who used to say, help enough people to get what they want and you'll get what you want. And there's real depth and truth to that I've found as well. And plus for me anyway, it feels a lot more fun and congruent getting up. It gets me up in the morning to serve. Yeah. I could never get up in the morning to make money. I could never stay motivated for more than a couple of weeks. But when you shift your focus to someone else, that for me has been a huge shift. And one of your business principles as well, which is very similar to mine, is to do with just making everything a win-win and giving love. Tell us a little bit about your philosophy for business, if you would.
This wasn't always the case in my life. I mean, for many, almost three decades, I was living from a place of I need to win and you need to lose. And if there's a winner, there's a second place and a runner-up. And I always wanted to be the person ahead of everyone else. And that served me in ways of achieving certain goals, but it left me feeling very unfulfilled, very lonely, very empty, very angry, frustrated, confused. And it wasn't until I learned the principle of even if I win a game and someone else loses, you can still create a win-win experience. And even if, in every situation, every relationship now, I look at it, where's the win-win in this specific moment? Whether it's I'm getting something and they're not getting something, how can we create the win-win? In a business deal, how do we create the win-win so that I'm getting what's fair, they're getting what's fair, not me trying to take the most and they get left with nothing. But
that's a very abundant mindset, isn't it? It's not scarcity based at all. It's loving and giving, and And I think the law of reciprocity plays on that as well. Like when you're just amazing to people, like they just want to be nice to you as well. There's no need to compete. That's certainly what I'm experiencing anyway.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's a powerful lesson for me. And I'm still learning how to master that. It's, there's moments where I'm not perfect and I'm sure my ego gets in the way, but when I am coming from win-win, everything feels great.
True that.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the power of hustle real quick, because you talk about it a lot and I talk about it as a lot. I mean, I listen to too much rap music, and hustle is a common theme throughout the rap literature. What does hustle mean to you?
Man, I didn't have much talent, and I still don't have much talent, I would say, but I have an amazing hustle to get what I want. And I'd rather take a team of 5 people that have average talent but phenomenal hustle over all-stars who lack the hustle, who feel entitled. And I think there's something that comes to when you work with people that have hustle and have this energy, compared to people that just don't care or that are average hustle. You really see a difference in those people, and you want to give more to those people, and you want to move them up the ladder and whatever they're trying to do in their life. And those people move quicker to what they want because they're constantly in motion with passion and with focus and clarity, and they have a powerful why behind their passion. So I just feel like you cannot go wrong when you hustle. And if you don't do it, then you're probably going to get average results on an average pace. So if that's what you want, that's all good. But if you want a big life and you want to achieve greatness, you got to hustle.
Yeah, true that. And what do you mean? What is hustle? Because I know you admire Tony Robbins as I do. One of the things I often struggled with his work was the idea, he gets people in a beautiful state and it's take massive action, take massive action. And for the longest time, I found that tough, because I believe until you're deeply aligned with what your mission is and your purpose, it's very hard to kind of continually motivate yourself every day.
Yeah.
Give me some examples of what hustle could mean to someone that might be in that position now and they've tried, just working all hours of the day. Like, what's the shift in how you see the world when you're a hustler?
I mean, it's just really having a clear vision and realizing that there's, really only one day, and that's this day.
Wow.
There's only one day. It's this day, and life is now, and you got to have a sense of urgency, because at any moment, this could be my last conversation. And if I keep waiting until the right time, or until the opportunity comes, or until I'm older, or until I graduate, or until I leave my job, if I keep waiting for the moment may never come. And when we come from a place of urgency, and life is now, and this is the only guarantee we have is this moment. And how can we create our vision, and what's the path to creating that as fast as possible? That's how I think we got to start thinking more frequently.
Wow.
And obviously,
I got goosebumps, man.
yeah. I mean, obviously, like, listen, there's ebbs and flows, and
yes,
I just talked about this on a podcast. Like, you've got to show up, and then you got to rest up, because if you're showing up constantly and you're hustling constantly and you never sleep, your body's going to break down. So there's a flow to the hustle and flow.
True that. And one of my great mentors, Jamie Smart, taught me this as well, because I would almost, and I know a lot of the audience suffers with this as well a little bit, feel bad if you're not putting energy in every day, or if you feel like you need to take a break. But he taught me, like in Taoism, that everything is cyclical and in cycles, and that you have high energy moments and low energy moments, and you have to learn to trust your intuition, your deeper wisdom that says, today you should just chill and read a book, or you should just meditate, or you should have a lay-in, and not to, like, our society frames that if we're not highly productive from Monday to Friday, 9 till 5 or longer than that, then we're in some way like letting ourselves down, letting the team down. But I found that sometimes, like with the hustle, and to me, I define hustle as every day I'm putting energy in towards my vision. Like I'm getting up and I'm enthused and I'm bringing good energy, I'm giving love, and I'm showing up. I'm trying to be the best I can be every day. That to me is hustle. Did I show up today?
Yeah.
when you do that, I mean, it's beautiful because it actually energizes you. But sometimes there'll be days where, like this weekend, I went to Thailand for 3 days, took Friday off, took my girl away, just read my Kindle by the pool, got in the ocean, got that nice feminine, radiant energy, recharged me. Now I'm good to go. I'm back on the hustle. So hustle hard, but with the caveat that when you need to take a break, honor that as well. Like honor your intuition.
Yes,
for
definitely.
Sure. Boom. Let's talk about gratitude, man. Because what I love about you is you got all this swag and like the athlete charisma and like the masculine energy. But then you talk a lot about the power of gratitude, which I think is rare for people our sort of age group. And why is gratitude so important to you?
There's just so much to be grateful for. First off, I mean, life is incredible. It doesn't matter who you are, what you have, where you're at. There's so much to be grateful for compared to people who have less than you. And, you know, I live in my field, the greatest country in the world. You know, for me, yeah, exactly. I feel like I live in a great place. Let's say that. Yeah. And it gives me freedoms to do what I want and live a certain lifestyle, and allows me to chase my dreams where most people in the world don't have that option. And so for that alone, it's like I'm blessed and so grateful to live in this place and have the ability to live here. Secondly, it's like, gosh, I am freaking healthy. You know, I'm healthy, dude. I've had a good education. I've got even though my family was kind of broken, like I had a family. And so it's like, there's always something negative you could look at, like, and be down about. But I choose to look at everything as like, man, here's the things that I am grateful for. I think it was the book or the movie Don Quixote. I think that's how you say it, Don Quixote, where the guy basically has nothing and he's happy with like nothing. He has all he has is like a little string, and he gives like his girl a string to propose to her and puts it around her finger because he doesn't even have anything. And they're both like grateful and happy because they have each other. Yeah. And because it's not about like having all the perfect things and being like comparing yourself. I think it's just about knowing that there's so much good that we do have and being grateful for all the good as opposed to being negative about the things that we lack.
Yeah, for sure. And I'm blessed because the Big Life community is incredibly positive and grateful. Like we have an inner circle, which is like a community, my mastermind group. We've got about 600 people in there, and the energy they bring is so grateful and beautiful. But sometimes often in real life, I come across people who are not demonstrating much gratitude. Yeah. And one of the things that I heard from one of your podcasts, which really resonated, was that you said you've got to learn how to talk your limiting, negative, insecure self-talk into gratitude. How do you go about doing that? Because I've gone through that transformation in my life, and now, man, I'm deeply grateful. What's some of the specific things that we can do to get?
Yeah, if you're, listen, I used to be the king of self-beat up and like self-doubt and just saying I'm not worthy or good enough and constantly beating myself up. So I get it. And it's just an exhausting life. It's like, it's an exhausting weight that no one needs to carry. And the only reason you're carrying it is because you're doing it to yourself. Because you're giving your power away to your negative self-talk, as opposed to no one is taking it away from you, except for you. And when I started to say, okay, you idiot, you messed up, you screwed up, you're horrible.
I can feel the shift just there, like it just.
When I started to say that, when I was saying those things to myself, when I started to say, okay, you know what, where am I doing something right? Where am I doing something good? Where am I making progress? Even if it seems so small or not compared to like another entrepreneur or another athlete, where am I growing? I remember in Toastmasters, like I had to stand behind the podium and write out my whole speech word for word and practice it for weeks. And then I would look down and read it on the podium. Wow. And I'd feel so embarrassed and so much like a loser because I couldn't look people in the eyes when I spoke in public. When other people would be up there, no notes, no podium, just like free flow and like so on it and connected and vulnerable and intimate. And I was just like, and I would beat myself up originally. And then I would say, you know what? I've come a long way. I'm here doing the work. I'm here when other people aren't and they're too afraid. Now I just have notes as opposed to word for word. Now I just have note cards. Now I have just the podium, no notes. Now the podium's gone and I have note cards. Now I have nothing at all and I'm able to speak, fluently in front of an audience and wow people. And so it's recognizing those little things of how I am improving, even if it's not where I want to be, even if I'm not making the millions I want, even if I don't have the relationship I want, or I'm out of shape or whatever. It's seeing the progress and being grateful for every little thing along the way.
Oh, for sure. And what we focus on expands. I deeply believe
Exactly.
that wherever we put our focus on will amplify and magnify it
Yes.
in our life. And for me, like my natural state used to be one of depression, apathy, looking for things that are wrong. And I'd be very good at it. I'd be very I had an amazing gift for finding the thing that was wrong in the moment. So I had to train myself. And one thing that I did, I don't know if you've ever done this, but I think I read in like an Eckhart Tolle book or something like that. But I used to get up in the morning, well, I still do, got up and started writing down 5 things I'm grateful for. Then it became like a page in this beautiful journal that I get.
Yeah.
And even if I don't feel like it, by the time I get to the end, I'm feeling that energy. Now with the Big Life, I got a team of 5. We start every day with gratitude before we do any work, before we do any business, before we look at how we're going to serve today. And I don't just get them to talk about gratitude. They have to feel it. Like I have to believe that they're feeling grateful, because I believe that when you're in that energy, not only do you get more of what you focus on. I'm a big proponent of the law of attraction. I genuinely believe that whatever energy you put out comes back to you in a myriad of forms. It's a beautiful adventure you play with the universe. And for me, gratitude is the law of the universe. Like it's love. Like if you're giving, like no matter what's going on, if you can find something to feel at peace and grateful for and happy with, you soon get more and more of that, and you become someone that people want to hang around with, because you're grateful.
Exactly.
You're not moaning. People want to be around you. So
Yeah, and a couple things that I do to express gratitude every day is one of the things on my voicemail. So if someone calls me on my voicemail, the first thing I say is, before you leave a question or whatever your voicemail is, let me know what you're most grateful for.
Nice.
And when you do, then I'll respond to you. So I'm constantly getting people telling me, man, I'm so grateful for this. So when I'm listening to it throughout the day from people, I'm constantly asking people. The last conversation I have before I go to bed with my girlfriend, I say, what are the 3 things you're most grateful for this day?
Boom.
So I ask first, and then I respond because she asked me. And, I end the day with gratitude and start it as well, because I think it's powerful. But it's just like, I feel like it needs to be throughout your entire day. Like it just has to be something you live.
And it, for me, it is now, but it started through doing that morning exercise. But again, what we focus on expands. The more that I did that, the more my subconscious mind or whatever is going on there, it grasps, goes, oh, okay, we're going to do that from now on. And then it becomes automatic and effortless and spontaneous. And then that becomes part of who you are. And when you take that into your dealings, in this case, we're going to be talking soon about building a business, doing work that you love online. That when you take that grateful energy, you attract to you people that are gonna support that and help you. So I'm a big proponent of it. Let's talk about that now, because I think we've done a great job of sharing some of your beliefs and your mindsets. And mate, I admire the way you see the world. Like it's very, very inspiring. And the great news is that everyone watching can emulate this just by practicing and trying some of them. Now let's go a little bit deeper, because both you and I have been blessed enough to create incredible lives using the power of the old internet, because we could reach more people, cheaper and faster than ever before. Before we get into the actual strategies and tactics, sell us the dream a little bit of the online vision, like what, the online lifestyle, making your living on the internet. Why should that excite people? What's good about it?
I'm in Los Angeles, California right now, and I'm looking out over my balcony, 11 floors up in a condo building, looking out over the Hollywood Hills. It's about sunset right now, so the sun is glistening over all the buildings, and I see downtown LA in the distance. I see the Hollywood sign over in the distance. The sun is glistening over the mountains, and it's 80-degree weather right now. And today and yesterday combined, I think I've made about $13,000, where yesterday I was on the beach in Santa Monica doing acro yoga, working out, relaxing. Today I've been reading. I went for a workout, and I made $13,000 because I have an automated business set up where I've done a lot of work setting it up and put a lot of time and energy over 5 years creating it, so that it runs in a way that creates passive income for me so I can do what I want in my life and have the lifestyle that I've always dreamed of. That's the dream.
True that, man. True that, and couldn't agree more. And as an extension to that, I would add that waking up in the morning and doing what you feel called to do, what you feel is your purpose, whatever your purpose is right now, and getting up and having that focus on not how am I going to pay the bills, or not my boss is an arsehole, or that I hate the people at work, or anything like that. It's on how do I serve today? How can I make the biggest positive impact? And that coupled with the waking up in the morning richer than when you went asleep, being able to travel. I mean, because one of the beautiful things, like we were just talking before we started recording this, you're coming to Thailand and to
Bangkok and Laos and Philippines. Yep.
But you don't need to beg a boss to give you time off. You don't.
No.
You can work from there.
I booked first class because I can afford it.
Oh, nice! I like that, man. I like that. Well, look, let's go a little bit deeper because, in fact, let me just make sure that everyone watching is really, really clear. I genuinely believe, and Lewis, let me know where you stand on this, that where we are now in terms of 2015, there is no better, more enjoyable, faster way to share your message with the world and receive abundance and rewards and freedom and prosperity in return than to figure this stuff out, to figure how to reach this many people. Like even more than... Go on.
Yeah, I mean, I feel so blessed to be born at this time during the internet, just because there's 15 years ago, we wouldn't be able to do this. We'd have to figure out some type of offline thing, like running a business with a lot of overhead or a building or something.
And you actually have to buy stock. You have to have something to sell, and if you don't sell it, you have to pay for it anyway. Like what me and you have done is figure out how to share our knowledge and expertise and enthusiasm, invisible information, and add value to it, because if you provide value to people, like money is the way we exchange value in this society. Right. Like we pay for things that we find valuable, and information, this is the age of information. People want to know how to be happy, how to have better relationships, how to do any one of a number of things, and the internet allows you to find those people very inexpensively and reach them and help them and serve them, and then at the end say, look, if you enjoyed this, I have something else you might like. And then they can give you money, and you can help them, and you can change their life. It's incredible. Who could start an internet business?
Anyone with a willingness to work hard and that has an internet connection.
Yeah.
I mean, really, I don't know. I think anyone who's got a willingness to work hard, who can figure out a way to create value to people, and who has internet.
I know people our sort of age who have created great lifestyles doing this. I know grandmothers who do this. I know middle-aged
13-year-olds.
Oh yeah, I've heard of them. I've never met one yet. I'd probably be a bit like
yeah,
13. Get your money, son. Nice. But the point I'm trying to stress is that I've met people from all walks of life with zero technical ability to begin with, who have been able to do this, because really it's more about having something that you know about and care about and sharing that more than anything else. The rest of it you can work out is what I've found anyway.
And here's the thing, it's a process. So
yes,
when you learn anything new, when you want to learn how to master anything new, there's a pain period. There's going to be an experience of some sort of pain, whether it's confusion or just frustration because you don't have it figured out, or a process of learning something, which could take a few weeks or a few months or years. Creating something new, like learning how to do new things, can be painful. Or you can just look at that as a process that's necessary to achieve what you want.
Well, it's Harv Eker, who's coming on the show soon, actually, a man who's had a big impact in my life, says, like, by its very definition, getting outside your comfort zone requires discomfort. Like if you want to learn a new skill that's currently outside of your comfort zone because you don't know it yet, of course, it will feel a little bit uncomfortable. I studied NLP for a few years. It had a big impact on me. One of the best ideas there I found was reframing. So that means looking at a new way of seeing an idea. You can either say, oh, this is really painful and scary and I'm no good at it. Or you can say, wow, look at all this stuff that I'm learning. Like, look how uncomfortable it makes me feel. Look how fast I must be progressing. Look at what I'm willing to do that others don't. And and that little shift will keep you in that good energy, that grateful energy, and help you to create it. Let's look at these 7 pillars. Right.
Okay.
So there are 7. You teach that there are 7 core pillars to building an online business, and to put in context, this is something. I mean, you usually charge, I think, $7,000 an hour to do this sort of consulting.
Yeah.
So Big Life viewers, as always, we hooked you up. It's going to be awesome. But these, grab a pad and pen if you don't have one already. Hopefully you've been taking notes throughout. These are the really powerful core principles that both Lewis and I and countless other online entrepreneurs have used to create abundance and freedom and give value and all that good stuff. So
so if you learn to master these 7 things, you can build an online business. And even if you don't learn to master them, if you learn to master a couple of them or 1 or 2 of them even, you can learn how to start making money right away. If you do all 7, then it's really a powerful, sustainable business over time that continues to grow and grow and grow and give back to you and others. But you could really do one of these things and make money with it. So let's start with number 1, if you don't mind me just diving in.
No, jump in, man, jump in.
Yeah, and I highly recommend getting a pen and paper out and taking notes right now and just writing it down, because that'll allow you to set the intention for what you need to create right away, the next step after this interview. So step 1, and if you want to have a business, it's your own business, you need to have something to sell. Now, this could be your own product, a service, a software. It could be books, DVDs, audios. It could be a physical product. It doesn't even matter what it is. You need something to sell. And it doesn't have to be your product either. It can be something else to sell, but you need something to sell. You need something for an exchange for money. It could be advice. It could be consulting, coaching, speaking. It could be selling someone else's advice. You could be a broker selling something. You can get really creative on how to sell, but you've got to have something first to sell. And if you're running a business kind of like me and Carl, then it's creating online courses, education, content. The people in the business in our world, they have an expertise that they sell. They have something they can teach, something they're passionate about that they start teaching others how to use and accelerate their growth on how to get to the next level in that thing. So again, step 1, find and have something to sell.
Boom. And let me add a little bit to that from my experiences. I started off, now we have the Big Life where we provide these amazing interviews, and the way that we make money is by often with a huge special discount or some added value, an opportunity to work with the author. So it's like, we'll give away this for free. If you like this guy or this lady, you can work with them. So a business model based on giving. But I started out 4 years ago, or 4 and a bit years ago. I wrote personal growth articles because that was what I was most passionate about. I was working in sales. It was really, really helping me, some of these ideas. So I started to write articles, and then people would write to me and say, well, what courses do you recommend? And I was like, oh, okay, here's an opportunity. So I bought all these courses from Mindvalley actually, and some other places, and I'd get an affiliate link, and basically what that means is you could say you write a review of a course you've taken. You say I enjoyed this course, and then you get 50% of the sale. So like I made $50 or $100 a sale just from being honest and saying, look, this really, really helped me. And in between there, I worked as a consultant in the mining industry in Australia, which is as far removed as possible, and I created online services for big companies that sell into mining companies. So and I've done a myriad of things in between. In short, there is really no limit except for your imagination in terms of what you can. It's just the same as anything you'd sell in real life. You can just do it via the medium of the internet.
That's it.
So you can do anything. You could sell anything.
You can really sell anything. Yeah. Have something that you like selling.
Yes.
Don't just sell something because you think it'll make you a lot of money if you don't like it. I feel like that's hard to really sustain, and it's not.
It is.
A great principle of greatness. It's kind of like just doing it for you to win, not for everyone else to win.
That's one of the big mistakes that I made starting out, because I've read a lot of conflicting information that you should find something that is going to sell well, and luckily I've learned that now that it's all it's all love. Like, is it aligned with my truth? But for everyone starting out, like, just start to set an intention to keep an eye open for what sort of things are you interested in? What do you buy over the internet? What gets you excited? And what have you used in the past that really helped you? Is there a way that you can transform that into something that you help people with? And I think the answer is yes. All right, principle 2, my man, over to you.
Yeah, principle 2 is to build your personal brand. So if you're going to be an entrepreneur specifically, or if you're going to run a company, you want to build the company brand or your own personal brand. And what I mean by that, it means really developing a home base with quality branding, with quality visuals and graphics and consistency throughout your brand so that people can see it and it looks trustworthy, it looks credible, it looks something that you want to keep coming back to. It doesn't look scammy. So you want to find other brands that you like and mimic that, or think about, what do I want to create? What's my vision? What's my brand? What do I want to put out to the world? How do I want people to perceive me? And a lot of things you can do to build your brand is to get recognized by press and media. So get featured in other big sites and articles and newspapers and TV and all these different things, magazines. Having a book or writing an ebook at some point and being an expert, a topic expert, is going to build your brand. Building your following, which we're going to be talking about here next. Having a larger audience will build your brand. Mm-hmm. Speaking on stages at trade shows and events geared around your topic will build you as an expert and an authority leader. So there's a lot of things you can do to build your brand, but having a great home base that looks clean, like Carl's, your site looks amazing.
Thanks, man.
Because you sent me an email and asked me to come on. The only reason I came on, I never heard about you, but the only reason I said, cool, let's have a conversation about it, was because you had an incredible brand.
Thank you.
And for me, that's what I'm attracted to. But if you just had like this sleazy looking like sales page with a video up with like bad looking text and images, I'd have been like, I wouldn't even responded.
And that's I'm really glad you're honest about that, because this is one of the great joys that I've had working with Mind Valley and partnering with Vision on the Big Life, was that Mind Valley makes these beautiful, glorious sites. And I built a 6-figure internet business using, I built it all myself. So I didn't do the branding. I did it from the beach in Sydney, and I used, and there are tools you can use to build it yourself.
Sure.
I mean, it was great. I was making 6 figures a year.
It works, but
it works,
to be an authority long term, you're not building that credibility,
Completely. And I've realized, because I used to be a bit like, well, it's not worth spending a couple of $100 extra on a website. I'll do it all myself. And actually, that's another lesson you teach about outsourcing. But the lesson here for everyone watching from me is that when you get clear on what your message is and what your truth is and what you want to share with the world, it's really it. What do you want to share with the world? That if you make your branding, whatever you're putting on your website or whatever, make it congruent with that, and you'll absolutely turbocharge your results. And that's something that took me four and a bit years to learn, and very, very powerful. And you've got some great tips in your program where you show people specifically how to do that. In my program, I've got a whole branding document, like a guide that walks you through exactly how to set up your own website with the visuals. So I don't recommend actually designing yourself, but I show you a whole process of how I design my site. And if you check mine out at lewishowes.com, I get people complimenting on it still today, 2 years later, on that it's the best looking site they've ever seen. It's a sexy site, man.
In my space.
It's a sexy site.
And it's because I use this process, this branding design document process, where it's basically like a vision board for my website and my brand, where I created exactly how I want it to be, with the messaging, with the intention, the feeling, the look, the feel, putting visuals in there, and I gave it to the designer and I said, go. And they put together, they were like, this was the easiest thing we've ever done, because you told us exactly what you wanted through this visual document.
Back to the power of having the vision. That's it.
Exactly. And in my program, I give that away as part of the process. It's probably like $1,000 value right there. So
nice, beautiful.
Yeah.
All right.
So the next thing, the next step is growing your audience and your email list. So you've got to build a following. You've got to build a community. You've got to build something where people are, so they can buy your products, so they can see who you are, so they can see what content you're creating, what products you have out there, and they can buy. If you don't have an audience to get in front of, or have access to an audience to get in front of, you're not going to get any sales, period. Whether it's door to door or whether it's over the internet or whatever. If you don't get in front of people, you won't get sales. You can't just throw up a website and hope people will find it. You've got to build the audience, and also not just a social media following or communities online. You've got to then convert those into email leads, because social media, online communities could all go down at any time if they choose to shut down your account. So you want to make sure you're building a following, but also capturing those into emails, whether they're giving you something for free, getting them on your newsletter. That way you have control over what they see at all times. and if we
sure.
want to sell something.
And it's the most beautiful thing in the world as well, because when someone subscribes to your emails, like I send a daily email with the Big Life, and it allows me to
Yeah.
help people and inspire them and share stuff that I'm using. Like I wrote a nice email I just meditated on the ocean in Phuket in Thailand, and I was feeling inspired, and I shared some lessons that I'd learned that had helped me. So it's not, it's just to clarify, it's not just about let's get an email address so I can sell you stuff. It's the most convenient way to help people and impact them, and then that law of reciprocity kicks in. Like I very rarely sell in my emails. It's like, look, we got this thing, you might want to take a look, but real hands off. Like I don't think. Well, actually, I deeply believe that sales shouldn't be hitting someone over the head and trying to get them to buy something. It's like, look, does this help you solve your problems? Does it get you closer to your dream life?
Yeah.
Is it great value for money? If so, take a look. If not, it's all love. Like I do this out of the love, and but building an email list is by far the most valuable thing I've ever done, both in terms of developing my message and how I serve, but also in terms of being able to help people and create a great life, like a big life.
Yeah.
And my girlfriend Rebecca, amazing woman, she's just started her first online business. Now, so different to mine. She's passionate about interior design, so she's got these incredible, I don't know, like cushions and vases. It all looks beautiful. Her house looks cool, and she sells them on a website. But same thing. She's selling physical stuff through the post, but she's building an email list. And she sent an email, and her first ever email, and I glanced over it. She wrote it herself. Three sales on the first email.
Wow.
And she was like, "Oh, I only got 3 sales," and I was like, "Woman, gratitude." It took me like 8 months to get 3 sales in my online business, maybe a little longer. Like you've done it in your first week. Like it's incredible. But the power of an email list, like if you don't have the email, you can't send the message, and that's what gets the money in.
That's what brings in the business. That's what gets the sales. And you got to have something to sell. You've got to build your brand. That's going to build the credibility, so more people will buy when you have the list and offer them something to buy.
Boom! I hope you're taking notes, everyone, because honestly, this is stuff that I literally paid. I mean, more than $10,000 to learn it for all the different courses that I was studying when I first started out. What's pillar 4, Lewis?
Pillar 4 is you got to create multiple revenue streams. Now, let me be clear about this. There are people who are building an online business that have one product a year that are making 10, 20, $30 million a year with one big launch and doing this. But they've spent years and years to build up to do that. However, I highly recommend allowing yourself to have at least a few products or a suite of products. It doesn't have to be 50 or 100 because that could be too much depending on what type of business you have, but have a couple products at a couple different price points. I've got a podcast that brings in over $5,000 a month from sponsors, but also I'm generating leads where people are buying my products from there. So it's bringing in revenue in multiple ways from a podcast. Then I've got $1,000 online course that I help people make 6 and 7 figures a year with. That is doing about $5,000 in sales a day that I'm running from Facebook ads to selling that. Then I've got my School of Greatness Academy, which is my premier package where some of the most successful entrepreneurs sign up for, and people just trying to get started who are making 6 figures, 7 figures that want to get to that level. That's a $500 course as well that people are signing up for. I've got coaching that's $7,000 an hour. I got consulting and advising for tech startups that pay me like $5,000 a month to do a couple hours of phone call plus equity. I've got a magazine I'm coming out with that's going to be $4.99 a month through iTunes. I've got all these different revenues coming in. I've got a company that I sold for 7 figures that pays me every month a fee, every month for 3 years. I've got affiliate sales that come in from websites that I have. I've got a sports business that brings in money. It's constant money coming in, speaking gigs, opportunities, whatever it may be. I get referral fees all the time. So many people ask me to coach me or have me coach them. And I don't like doing it that much because I think it actually comes from a place of scarcity when you're trading your time for dollars, unless that's your business model. And so even if it's $7,000 an hour, I've got a couple clients at that level. I keep saying no to other people because I don't want to bring on more energy to build someone else one at a time. I'd rather put them in a group program to build up multiple at a time. So I'm referring that, and I'm getting commission for referring other coaches. And I'm just getting creative with my revenue streams.
Hearing you talk about that and everyone watching, did it remind you of the quote in Napoleon Hill's Think and Grow Rich, where he says, when riches start to come, they come in such great abundance and in such volume, you wonder where they were hiding, where it was hiding through all the lean years. But this is saying that I've experienced, like you, and I want to remind everyone just to stop, don't get overwhelmed by this. Remember, a couple of years ago, you were sleeping on your
Yeah,
sisters.
5 years ago.
5 years. And this is the result of that mindset that we were talking about earlier in this training. That hustle of putting energy into your goals every day or as close to every day, and really understanding the principles of giving value and helping people, being of service, and also understanding these pillars and applying them. But Bob Proctor came on the show and teaches that one of the best things that you can do to create abundance in your life is create multiple streams of income. One of his affirmations is money. I'm so happy and grateful that money flows to me in ever increasing amounts from ever increasing number of sources. And that for me is something that I worked on, and it's the same, man. Like I like having money flow to me. You're not overly reliant on just one thing. Like if you create just one product and you have to make this succeed, you're attached to that outcome. When you just do things out of love and you go, well, I could probably help someone here, I could do this, I can try this, then that energy of creation and giving and service will attract back to you the opportunities. And when you have 4, 5, 6 of these things, which again you can do one a month, one every 2 months. In the first year, if you did one thing every 2 months, you'd have 6 things for sale by the end of the year. And it's incredible. Dude, when I had my visualization business, the reason I started that was because I started visualizing. I read Psycho-Cybernetics, a book which tells you about visualization. And my sales went up, so I got super inspired to share this with my friends, which I did. And then people were saying to me, well, I want to learn this. So I got my old iPhone, and this was about 3 years ago, set it up and talked for about 60 minutes about visualizing all the stuff that I'd learned. And then I put that up and I made like a real basic web page, and I sold that for about $50. And that made me tens of thousands of dollars. But then people wrote to me and said, well, I just want to listen to visualization. So I got a microphone and I recorded a few guided visualizations and sold them. And then I wrote an ebook and sold that. Then I had a community. But it was all like I didn't have to work it all. It was all based on following the results that were coming back to me and people's feedback. I didn't need to figure it all out in advance. And that in turn turned into a 6-figure business by me sharing something I deeply care about.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean it's great, mate, but it's following these pillars. Like it's at first it sounded scary. I was like, I can't even imagine having all of these things. But when you get in the flow, when you're hustling every day, you're taking action, you have that vision.
Yes.
It manifests spontaneously because people will come to you and say, oh, like one of your case studies that you share with me. I mean, you shared Tom was the lady who helped acupuncturists. So she, like that to me is an obscure niche, but she's like, I know how to help people who've got acupuncture businesses. I'm going to help them. And then she created a suite of products to help that. I mean, and crazy. You can generate profits from your passions in just about any topic, I believe.
Yes, absolutely.
So yeah, cool. All right, what's the next one, man? So we've got multiple revenue streams.
Yep. That's number 4. Number 5 is learning how to outsource. And really what I mean by this is building a powerful team. Now I'm not saying outsource to another country, outsource to, pay for cheaper rates. That's an option if you want to go that route. What I'm saying is build the most powerful team you can build around you, whether that's one person, 100 people, whatever that means to you, the type of business you want to have. I've got really inspiring, powerful people around me who I've hired, and I pay nicely for it. I pay a lot of money for them, and I get great results because I paid that. Now it's taken a while and a process of learning and pain going through different people that I didn't do the best job of seeing if they were the right fit, and I wasn't great at communicating, so I had to go through that process myself to learn. But now I'm at where I want to be, and it's incredible, and it's allowing my business to make money while I sleep because they're running it for me, not me running it. Beautiful. And it's all about learning how to find the right people, and I look for qualities. So I look for attitude and energy and positivity and gratitude. And I can teach, if there's someone's willing to work hard, they can learn a lot of the things you need to learn about the online business. It's not that hard. And that's really it. Find that team,
Dude, and that's something that took me a long time to learn. As I mentioned briefly before, like I tried to do everything myself and have that control. And with the big life, it's the first time that I've hired an amazing team around me, and the power of the mastermind is real. The energy goes up. You are greater than the sum of your parts, and also this to me ties into doing the things that are in your zone of genius, the gifts that you are here to give. Like if creating a page isn't right for you, you can find someone on Fiverr or one of the outsourcing sites for like, $50 or no money at all to do something for you. And it's learning to give up that control so that you focus on the things that you are best at. And really the hiring thing for anyone watching who's ready to go to that next level. I was at a conference late last year called Entrepreneur, which is an incredible Mind Valley conference for online entrepreneurs doing $1 million up in sales. Amazing people, very inspiring. And one of the speakers was a guy called Sunil who owns a big recruitment firm. And in Silicon Valley, he's Google's number one recruiter. Recruiter. So he knows his stuff. So I was paying attention and taking notes. And the number one lesson he said, the rule of hiring, which I think you'll enjoy, was you hire for attitude and you train for skill. So you're hiring for that hustle, for that desire to get ahead. And then you teach them the specifics of what they need to do in the job. Yeah. You don't do it the other way around. Like, that's the mistake I made. Oh, you look like you'd be good at this job, but then you've got no hustle. You come to work, you've got no energy. You want to find people around you, uplift you. Or certainly in my vast experience the last 3 months having a team around me, that's what I've learned.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
But yeah. Good stuff. All right, man. What's
number six? Number 6 is you got to understand the science of relationship building and networking. Some people call it networking. I really call it building powerful relationships. And I would say this is one of the main keys to my success. Has been hustle, vision, but really adding value to high influential people that can support my business growth and accelerate that. And you've got to really understand how to, for me, I never felt smart. I never felt intelligent in school. I never felt like I had something important to say. And it made me feel very insecure. And it was a big downside to my childhood development in school and college. I never felt smart. It was kind of like my story. And then I used that to my advantage. I think everyone has these, like, let's say downfalls, but we can use all these disadvantages to our advantage if we look at it and reframe it, like you said, a different way. And so instead of trying to look smart or sound smart or say something intelligent, I decided to listen and ask questions. And through the power of listening and asking questions, I noticed an incredible thing happen, is that these influencers really felt like I cared. Yeah. And they felt like I cared about them and what they had to say and their life story and their mission. And it wasn't about me trying to get a word in or me trying to get something from them or have them do something for me.
That's a key distinction. I think when you go into relationships trying to get something, people subconsciously know. But if you, like, for example, I went to an amazing party, private party in New York a couple of months ago. My boy is the doctor for the New York Knicks, so he hooked up this crazy party, and I bumped into one of my favorite rappers, and everyone at the party was trying to get something from him and trying to take some of his time. And we were walking through opposite each other. We're the only white boys in there that were rapping along. So we sort of laughed at each other. And I stopped him and I could almost see him go, right, now he's going to ask me for something. And I said, dude, I've listened to you from the beginning. Nothing but love, man. I just want to share the love. Like, you're a cool dude. Gave him a little fist bump and walked off. And I see in his face, like, wow, what a nice surprise that people aren't trying to get something from me. And, like, just all love. And I think that's the key. Like, throughout my life and my career, I've always been attracted to people who achieved the biggest success or who seemed, like, whatever company I worked for, the rules didn't apply to them. They had their own, like, a reality distortion field was how Steve Jobs was described as having. Like, the normal universe didn't apply to them. So I'd go to them and be like, how do you do this? Can I take you out for a steak? Can I buy you dinner? I just want to pick their mind and see, how do you see the world? What do you do differently? And what I've found is that, as a general rule, successful people want to help other people. They want to show, they want to share. So if you go in with that good energy, they actually want to help you. Have you found that as well?
Yeah, but I would say they want to help you when you make it about them, not about you.
Good clarification.
So don't make it about, like, can you help me? Can you give me the answers? Can you teach me something? Like, they don't have time for you, first off. But if you reframe it and say, man, I'm really interested to learn about how you got to where you are, how you became so successful. Like, what was the thing you did? Like, what was the process? Like, people want to talk about those things more than tell me how to become successful.
Absolutely. Good
You know what I mean?
clarification.
So,
Absolutely. And I think that's wonderful advice. And it's served
yeah.
me incredibly well. Just being curious and allowing yourself to be inspired. Like you mentioned earlier, being vulnerable. I thought it's a beautiful way of
Yes.
putting it, particularly for men. We're told we shouldn't be vulnerable, but being in that situation where you're like, oh, dude, like you're really inspiring. Like, how do you see
Yeah.
the world? Like, it's an odd question to ask someone. Yet it's always led me further on my path, and because I believe intrinsically that successful people are good and they want to help for the most part. That's what I
Exactly.
found anyway.
Exactly.
Um,
Exactly.
cool.
Yeah.
Principle
So point number
7.
7,
Woo.
principle 7. Again, there's lots of principles to building a successful online business. These are kind of the core 7 principles. If you can master these, although everything else kind of falls in under place under all these things. But number 7, I would say, I really found the acceleration in my business. Within the first year of my business, I think we did like a $500,000 in sales. Once I started making money and then kind of like launched a business, we did a 500,000 in sales with me and my partner. Then one thing changed. One thing happened. And after that, the next month, after this one thing, we did $250,000 in sales in 1 month. That was 1 month where the whole year prior, we did only a 500,000 in sales. And this one thing was the determining factor for why that accelerated. And that was having a mastermind and being a part of a mastermind in a
Wow.
community of other successful entrepreneurs, other powerful entrepreneurs who are up to big things, where you can cross promote, support each other's, give each other ideas, give each other feedback from other people that are credible resources, not just beginners, but
Hmm.
people who have already been successful. So it's like finding that peer group of inspiring, successful people who are crushing it as well. Doesn't have to be the same industry, but just who understand what you're going through and can give you good feedback. If you find that mastermind community, you're almost guaranteed to accelerate the type of income you're making.
Lewis, again, thank you so much for providing so much value and being so giving and loving, man. Absolutely love
Of
you.
course, man.
Last question. I ask everyone: if you had one bit of advice for everyone watching who wants to create a big life, what would it be?
Live in service.
Ooh, that came easy, man. I like it. I
Live in
like it.
service, man. Yeah.
Live in service indeed. Couldn't agree more. Everyone, again, thank you for watching. I hope you can tell there's nothing but love. And until the next time, think big, live big, and remember you can create any life that you choose.